Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Inspire 2026. I'm super excited to be here today. If it's your first workshop, do not worry. We have a lot loaded for you guys today. As every single workshop, we will be having two live challenges, so be on the lookout for that. And if you don't speak the language here that the speakers speak, do not worry. We have AI captions right in that right corner. So make sure to keep up with the workshop. And I'm super excited to be announcing these speakers. Let's give it up for Krissy and Hart in the chat. Krissy, Hart, how are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. How
Good.
are
I'm
you?
super stoked that you guys are here. I can't wait to see what you guys present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You ready?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
Sounds
Let's get
good.
started.
you guys
Let's
got
get
it.
to it.
All right. Hi, I'm Hart. I'm a 3D artist and a builder. I focus more on building primarily. Right now I work at Just to Impress as a lead build, and I work alongside Krissy here. Yep.
All right.
And these are some of my builds that I've worked on recently. You can see I have my a Christmas build and my Valentine's build, and he has helped me with a lot of these. So, yep.
Yeah, it's definitely a collaborative thing for us.
And
So hi everybody, I'm Krissy. I'm also known as Krissy3D, but you guys can call me Krissy. I'm a builder and 3D modeler here on Roblox, and I've been doing it for about 6, 7 years now. I started out making UGC during their early waves, and now I work for Dress to Impress alongside Heart as a builder. Super excited. Okay, let's get into it. One of my favorite builds right now has to definitely be the new Dress to Impress summer build. So let's zoom into that.
oh, it's not.
We can say,
No.
okay. All right. So it's the top one on the bottom
So it would be this
right
one.
corner. Yeah, definitely. That one was one of our biggest builds for summer.
Yes.
We've never done this grand of a build for summer. It was testing my limits a lot, especially because a lot of different architecture from Brazil. We took a lot of inspiration from the favelas, and yeah, it was really great to work on this alongside Heart. And then you guys can see some of my 3D models down there. We did Christ the Redeemer from Rio. I have a little Goku, a little cat from Chinese New Year, and some more Japan stuff from Just to Impress.
Yep.
Alrighty, so the roadmap today, we're going to be covering quite a number of topics, and Hart can go ahead and read them out.
Okay. So we have the pipeline, then we have creative vision, and we have elements and principles of art.
And after that, we're going to move on to gray boxing in Roblox Studio, and then transitioning those gray box shapes to your polished assets.
And then we have import, organize, place, lighting and presentation, and trust the process.
Yeah.
And then last,
We have a little Q&A set ready for you guys. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we?
yes.
So before we start with anything, I think it's really cool to give a little example throughout the entire presentation. Hart and I are actually going to spin a wheel and see what we should build today. So this is kind of, we don't know what the heck is what it's gonna pick. So
yeah, hopefully something easy.
I know. Let's see, drum roll. Right. This new topic. Okay.
Okay, let's pick. What do you want to pick?
Lighthouse, no?
Lighthouse?
Lighthouse?
Yeah, I think that's acceptable for like the hour that we have.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be good.
So first off, we have pipelines and workflow. We want to become familiar with the tools we commonly use every day on Roblox, me, Krissy specifically. It helps speed up our workflow a lot, and it just makes our job a lot easier. So here we have 3 tools, 1 workflow, and if you want to explain.
Yeah. So first we have PureRef. PureRef is basically the building block to what your vision is going to be as a builder. Gathering our references is one of the most important things to do, and PureRef is an aid to this. It gathers and organizes a variety of references to brainstorm your next project.
Yeah. And then we have Blender 3D. It's just a known free 3D modeling software, and it helps model things. And if you want to continue.
Well, yeah, Blender it's free, of course. It's widely used throughout our entire Roblox community. I'm pretty sure if you go on Twitter or something, you guys can come across somebody using Blender. It's super duper intuitive, especially for you guys who are beginners, because all the UI is very streamlined. There's tons of documentation online on YouTube, and yeah, just super duper easy and fun to get into.
And these are some alternatives if for some reason you can't get PureRef. There's Freeform, Photoshop, DarkRef, and Pinterest. These are all things you can use to like gather all your pictures and all your little ideas and just put it into one big picture.
And then some alternatives to Blender 3D. Be mindful that these are paid, which is why we prefer as Blender as an entire team to use Blender. We have 3ds Max first, which is primarily a 3D modeling software. Then we have Maya, which can do animations, UV layouts. Honestly, it's a lot in one software. And then after that, we have ZBrush. ZBrush is mainly a sculpting tool. And what I definitely see a lot of people use is using ZBrush, Blender interchangeably. You can sculpt in ZBrush and then bake your things onto Blender. It's very, very streamlined. Honestly, your workflow is going to be built by you over time. So definitely experiment with these different applications.
Yes. And lastly, we have Roblox Studio. This is where we primarily work, where we put everything together. It is where we set everything.
Literally.
So we use different plugins here, and this screenshot you can see we're using F3X. It has a really good tool with snapping corners together, and you can see here I'm pressing R or holding R on it, and it's snapping to that corner.
Yeah, plugins are super duper. They save so much time, especially when we're building. These builds can take so much time. So these plugins really cut down the time that we need to use building, and put more time into what we want to create.
Yeah.
So second would be to create a vision. This is the blueprint step. Me and Harht send ideas back and forth with PureRef until we're on the same page. So the main objective here would be to create a reference board with meaning to guide your visual direction of your project. You have to know what to look for, because honestly, if you don't have an idea and don't have references to match that idea, then it's like, what am I gonna build,
Yeah, and people who skip this step, they tend to like remodel the same thing 3 times. It's not very helpful.
Yeah, I've done that before, guys.
Right. So build a board with meaning, create a vision. So what I like to think is mix mood, identify colors and shapes.
Definitely.
So, which atmosphere are you expressing? My images are not loading, but we will have to.
We'll use references from our mind.
Yes.
All right. So the mood here is you have to ask yourself, which atmosphere am I expressing? What mood do I want to convey in my build? Say let's take the Valentine's DTI update, for example. Valentine's is a very loving, warm type of holiday here in the US. We definitely use colors such as red, warm oranges to really amplify that mood that we want to express. It gives us a better Valentine's atmosphere. It's soft, it's romantic, and that's on purpose, definitely.
Yep. And here would be a spring picture build I did, and it was a very calm environment. It had some some butterflies flying around and lots of greenery. You would ask and identify how should players feel in this environment, and they should feel like serene and just zen.
Calm, playful, and the color vibe that we used for this specific spring update was definitely a lot of pastels, like pastel yellow, pastel blue. It's really arid, really spring. So next we have our colors. Colors are going to be what sets the vibe with a color palette that makes sense, It would be interesting to have like a horror game and then you have like a very warm orange color palette, Doesn't really fit. So for for like a warm horror, no, sorry, for a cold horror game, we would normally use like a blue palette.
Yep. And then lastly, we have shapes. For this, I had an obby, and it had a bunch of peppermints. I've used it. I asked myself, how do I use circles and like obbies? Like, how do I show this is like a safe shape to jump on? Should I jump on this peppermint in this water, or will it not be safe?
Yeah, we're like, will it kill me? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your shape language is going to be eternally important here.
All right. So next we have the building blocks, elements and principles of art.
So let's start with form. Form is basically the volume, depth, and dimension. Remember that the principles of art apply to all art mediums, not just 3D modeling. It could be traditional art, digital art, music, scripting even. But here we're going to focus on the 3D form of a model. So the form of a model basically is how you interpret the depth, the volume, and the dimension of a model. Is your model going to be big or small? It really depends on the 3D space and your references.
And next we have balance. It shows like stability, symmetry, and distribution. So you have to arrange elements in your artworks or 3D artworks to show balance.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be kind of silly to have such a like think of an example like a big light bulb just in the middle of the room. Does that
Yeah.
really balance with the rest of the room? Ginormous light bulb? Doesn't really make sense, does it?
Harmony?
Next, we have harmony. Harmony is basically the cohesion of a workspace or a space or a room or whatever you're going to build. How does it make sense together? You know, it comes in the form of, let's, for example, have a low poly asset compared to a high poly build. Doesn't really make sense to put a low poly asset, which is such a realistic build, you know? It'll look out of place. It will not harmonize. So you have to ask yourself, how well do my different elements fit together in a unified scene?
Yep. And then lastly, we have emphasis. This focus, it's more about like focusing on one point of a scene or art or 3D art builds, showing contrast. It's showing a hierarchy. So you can draw the player's attention to one focal point. That's important.
Yeah, super duper important. The focal points of a build are one of the most important things that you have to think about preemptively before doing your build. You just have to like look at the gameplay and then look back at your build and be like, okay, what am I going to look at? What do I want the players to be looking at more importantly? And the emphasis will help you a lot in trying to form this focal point.
All right, so for this slide, I wanted to show how the elements of 2D art would translate to 3D art, and you could see like it all really does translate through any medium.
Definitely, yeah.
So for the first one, we have form. We have a low poly sword, and then we have a high poly sword right below it. You can see
Well,
one's like
yeah,
more younger.
one is more younger audience form. The low poly style is normally like a younger audience. Like
Yes.
you see a lot of these games that are using low poly, they attract a lot of little kids. How does that compare to high poly?
You could see like in the like high poly one, it's you can see it's like a lot sharper. It's just
Yeah.
more sophisticated shape
Yeah.
language. It shows it like the top one is more stylized.
Yeah, I feel like the high poly one is definitely more inclined to reach a more mature audience, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think older people are really looking for that low poly style. They attract more to what's realistic and what's high poly, you know?
Yeah, like a little kid would see the second picture where it's thinner and be like, oh, that's a stick.
Yeah.
But then he'll see like the big one and be like, wow, that looks like a really strong sword.
Exactly. So next we're gonna move on to balance. Remember we had covered this in the last slide, how your environment stays cohesive. So up here we have a cohesive style because everything is really intricate, it makes sense, the furniture placement is great. And it's just an overall really harmonized build. Whereas in the bottom, we don't really have a cohesive structure because it looks kind of compared to think about it, compared to the furniture, the walls are kind of barren and just nothing going on there. Whereas you have the furniture, which is really stylized, really realistic. It's just does not go too well together. What do you think about it?
Yeah, like you could see like in the first one there's like clear symmetry. You see like one thing's on one side, it's probably on the other.
Yeah.
It's just building balance and like making some tweaks between there so it's not so copy and paste.
Yeah, definitely. You have to ask yourself, like, is my environment, does it make sense, visually? So next we have harmony.
Oh, okay. So you can see in the first image, that seat is a lot more fitting than the beach chair out of vanity. You don't want to sit in a beach chair. I mean, I'm sure it might be more comfortable, but I don't think it's socially accepted.
Yeah,
So
like
we shouldn't put that there.
sitting in the beach chair while doing your makeup, that looks kind of silly in
Mm.
game. So after that, we have emphasis. Emphasis, like we said, it's going to draw a focal point. So how would you describe emphasis here in your build? Because
Yeah,
you built
so
it.
just like the last slide, if you guys remember like the pyramid shape, you'd see like it's drawing one point to the very top. In this image, this was like a culture podium that I made that I showed in my showcase in
Yeah.
the second slide, I think. But you could see it's like the only thing in that room that stands out. Like in DTI, it's all just square shelves. Everything goes in that shelf, and this having different shape language, moving objects, it draws their eyes to it to check out like the new clothing. So that's important.
No, yeah, definitely. It's intentionally put there in the middle because it's one of the first things that your eyes will psychologically draw to. Your eyes have no choice but to look at what's in front of it. So I really, really love this build. So now let's move on to the elements and principles of art. And a big benefactor to this is going to be the shape language. More importantly, how do the shapes in my scene or in my build translate to players? So one of the first things that we're going to cover here is the square shape language. Remember, these are things that are happening psychologically in a player's head. So when a player sees a square in a normal map, they tend to think stable, predictable, it's safe, chill, and helpful. So what other keywords will we put there? Cool, I guess. Let's type that in. Yeah. And helpful as well.
Helpful.
We already put help, but it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
help.
it's chill.
Help.
Help. Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on, here we have one of our good friends, Nazanie's Rivals Arena map.
Yes.
You can definitely tell how the squares are being used here. And it draws your player's attention and saying, come up here, go up to me, I'm going to give you more help. And the help would be here to have a better viewing distance of the enemy down below.
Yeah, and it's also like you can be at any angle and you can probably have like a good guess of how much visibility you will have on this map.
Mhm.
I think that's why it's one of the more loved played
Shapes,
maps.
yeah.
Just because it's just so simple and it like speaks just rivals.
Yeah, the player can tell really, really fast what's going to help me as to what's not going to help me.
Yes.
Oop.
Okay,
Okay.
we didn't finish,
Yeah.
but
Moving
we
back
think
to the
triangle.
triangle. Yeah, you can
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay, so triangles. Actually, I think you should start this one.
All right, so the triangle is going to be, think of like a triangle in your head. You have like sharp edges. They're sharp, dangerous, and malicious. You see a triangle, you wouldn't really be inclined to pick it. So what would be some other words to describe a triangle?
Scary.
Yeah, we can both decide it's scary. Yeah. And here what else do you want to put up there? Horror, I guess. Horror.
Yep.
Horror fits. And here to the right-hand side, good friends at Forsaken gave us some screenshots as to how triangles are used in their game. So you can hear with one of the killer's shapes and abilities, you can see that there's a very clear triangle shape. It's going to say, stay away from me, don't touch me. It's not gonna work, like I'm gonna get killed or something. So yeah, definitely stay away from those triangles, and it's super duper helpful to use in your builds, especially horror builds.
And then we have circle. These are two images we used that I think we both think that is very like harmless and welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the first image is from the Tokyo update. It was just like a little plushy pop-up shop. Very harmless. It's using circles to like show like you could see more This is like a very like
more
soft,
cuteness.
yeah, just
It's
cute.
softness. Yeah, definitely. So how we would use circles in here was like Hart said, the little cute plushies. You can drag over them and see that the shape is very, very clear. It's gonna give a soft, harmless, welcoming shape, you know? It draws the player's eyes in because it's cute, you know, it's not gonna make us harm, okay?
Yes.
So moving on.
All right. So now we are at checkpoint number 1, live challenge.
Ooh, live challenge, guys. Hope you guys have been listening.
So if you guys can scan that QR code, yes.
Yeah, you can guys can scan the QR code, and remember we'll start with the live challenge. So why is reference gathering so important in world building and modeling? All right.
Yes,
Is it
please scan
A?
that QR code so you guys can get that virtual free item. Sorry to interrupt, Krissy. Just
It's
making
okay,
sure.
don't worry. So is it A? It copies other creators' work directly.
Or is it B, it makes modeling faster without planning?
Or C, it helps guide themes, mood, colors, and overall visual direction.
Or is it D, it improves performance and optimization of a game?
Yeah, these are super duper important. Hope you guys pick the right one. Normally in DTI, we tend to, like we said earlier, we tend to really some fun thing that Hart and I like to do is we gather references in our own time, and then at the end we get together and be like, okay, what works, what doesn't. We communicate and collaborate on what makes sense in terms of reference gathering. So we'll give you guys some time to respond, and after that, we'll tell you the answer. All right.
So how was your day today?
It's been good. We were before this, we were actually talking about how interesting it is to do this as builders, you know. Normally a lot of our time is spent just building in our computers. It was really, really cool to come out here and show you guys a little bit of behind the scenes of what we do as builders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I feel like builders usually don't talk a lot about like the stuff they do and like
Yeah.
the pipelines of it all. I don't think that space is like big enough, but we want it to be, and we want to share our resources. So
Yeah, definitely. And you guys can always come to us for questions in the end. Anything on our Twitters, just ask us, and we're willing to reach a lending hand out. I think they're ready. Okay.
are they?
All right. Let's just go ahead.
Are we good?
Are we good to continue?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
Sounds
okay.
good. So the answer here would be C.
Yay.
Did we trick you guys? C, because reference gathering helps guide your themes, colors, mood, and overall visual direction. It's super duper important in how we translate the vision that we have in our head into the game or like into the references, because it's not always going to make sense. Like it's not always going to, maybe like a vision that you have in your head doesn't translate well to the game directly. So having that buffer in between of gathering your references really, really helps.
Oh, okay. So build and test the layout. Gray boxing in Roblox Studio.
Yeah, this is one of our favorite parts.
Yeah. Create a functional layout before committing to detail. Test what works before diving too deep. So this is mostly about just building like the most basic building blocks and just getting the ideas down while working with the gameplay.
Definitely, yeah. It's important to have those baseline shapes, and later on the important making it polished stuff can come. But as for now, the important things to keep in mind would be to translate your dimensions well, translate your sizing well, translate the colors even.
Yes.
So great boxing in studio.
Oh, do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay, so gameplay. Focus on the gameplay first, and visuals come after. So you can see, like here, it's just, you can see, like, it's a very basic block out. You want to figure out what players should see and what they shouldn't see. You want to build based off what the gameplay should be, depending on your game. And this can change from genre to genre. So
yeah, here we have an FPS map that I blocked out really, really quickly, but you can see how big of a change to the sightline, especially removing and adding on that orange wall does. it makes adding the wall makes the game less predictable because you have to decision make while playing the game. Is this person behind a wall or is it not? Should I be careful or should I not? Whereas if it wasn't there, the wall, it would not be as fun because gameplay is predictable and you already know if somebody's gonna be there. So keep these things in mind.
And here we have an example of us using scale for gray boxing. It's important to always check your models if it fits to the rig. For example, in Just to Impress, our rig, it's like a model and it is a lot bigger, I believe, than the normal rig. So we always have to check and check and check for things like doors or like lamps, just anything in general. We have to make sure players can fit in them.
Yeah.
Or if they're too big. Yes.
No, yeah, it's kind of a funny sight because especially with the Dress to Impress rig, you just see Hart randomly dragging one of a Dress to Impress rig across the map, and we're like,
No,
oh,
like
there it goes.
I would recolor. I have this like rig. I would recolor just so I could see how it sees in all lighting. If it's too bright, if it's too dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my dummy.
And always always compare the sizing of your rig onto your model. Like over here in the example we have below, the light is way too big. It seems normal sized until you add that rig in, that size reference, and then you can actually compare the scale.
Yes.
It makes sure that your models are proportionate. And then after that, we have the navigation. So the navigation is basically going to be how the player will move inside the game. You have to test your movements, your sightlines, and navigation very early on, or else it just will not, the gameplay flow will just not be good.
Yeah.
So up on here, we have like a little crossway, I guess you can say, and it has no walls. There's no railing, no way to, it's very, very predictable, you know?
Yes.
Would this be fun if you're playing a game? To have gameplay predictable?
No, because I'm the type to hide in bushes.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives those opportunities, those gameplay opportunities. Whereas down there,
and down here you could see like a wall got covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes it a lot easier for this dude on the bottom to stay out of line of sight.
Yeah.
The guy looking at the wall.
Yeah, it's way more fun, I think, because you're like, is that guy behind or is it not?
Yeah.
So the navigation.
So it plays a lot into like game design and just making like the layout of it all. And you work a lot with like programmers and other types of artists, and yeah, it's just important to be in that medium of building and knowing all sides.
Yeah, gray boxing is super duper important. So let's see how gray boxing would fit into our little lighthouse example. So if you could pull up the studio really quick.
All right, so now we're gonna do our build up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, so you guys can already see that I already have one of my plugins here. It's an increment set. I know Harht definitely uses F through X for her work. Like I said, we both have different workflows. It's totally okay. We all work differently because we find things work differently as we start building. Over time, we build a workflow. So it doesn't have to be how I build or how Harht builds. It's our own thing as long as we get together and collaborate into a final product. So how do we start building the lighthouse here? How do you want to start? Maybe
we should start with water.
Yeah? Okay, place on the water. I'll start with using Archimedes. And Archimedes is a really, really nifty, let me move this aside, really, really nifty plugin that we use because it allows you to create curves much, much faster as compared to placing these just hand by hand, you know? It makes them really, really more, just streamlined. So let's do.
So I'll be in charge of water, maybe?
Yeah, for sure.
I'll make water.
And then you could, I would just do the baseline, the baseline shape, and then you can extrude it up, and we go from there. All right, so right now, I'm getting the angle correctly. Let's do the 45 angle. Render all 7. Yeah, as you can see, super duper quickly, it creates that curve shape that we need to start the lighthouse. So let's extrude these up. All right, and while Hart's getting on that water.
You can turn off my edits if
okay,
you can't see.
Yeah, for sure. Let me do
I think that's also a good tab to show. It's very helpful.
The show collaborator selections. I like to have it on so that I know who's getting what. But for this demo, we'll turn it off. Yeah. So we're just doing the basic shape of the base. And then
I'm gonna use a plugin right now where I could just select this part, the water right now, and I could turn it from like the part terrain to a water terrain in one click. So, and with one click, it just turned the whole base plate to like the actual water material.
So now it makes way more sense for a light.
So-
We'll create land in a bit, but as you can see, I'm putting this into a model because honestly, placing your parts into a model is going to group them up. Makes it so much easier to know what you're working with. Let's name this base.
All right, I'm gonna make grass.
All right, and I'll keep on working on this base that we have right here.
Decide what style we want to do.
I think because of time, we should do like a low poly type.
Maybe
lockout. Like a stud build. Yeah, definitely. I know the stud build is really, really common nowadays on Roblox.
I know there's like a plugin that makes just putting studs a lot easier, but what do you usually use to put studs?
To put studs, I definitely like to have my material down here, up here, sorry. It looks like we don't have a material for it yet, but we can see if Heart
yeah,
can
I
come
can
up with one.
I can do it. I can do it. Let me
Right.
find that quick, and then you could continue on the lighthouse.
Definitely. So you can already see with the colors added, it's just a simple color, but it's gonna make that much bigger of a difference. Remember, this is just to get the base shape, so don't be worried if we're using high poly things like cylinders. It'll all be changed later once we get into the polishing part of the presentation. Oh, actually, really, really important thing to do. Let's go ahead and add that character in, that dummy. I'll use my avatar. He's a little samurai. As you can see, the sizing looks pretty good, but for a door, let's add another part. We name it door. Alrighty. So there's our little door. And using the dummy, like we had said before, let's get a reasonable size for the door here. Remember, this is just placement. Nothing's final. It'll all be iterated later. Let's actually make an opening for this door. Oh, sorry guys, I'm on Mac. It's very new to me. I normally use Windows, but we wanted to
You're
be
doing really
together.
good. You're doing really good for
Thank you.
someone who's using a completely new keyboard.
All right. So we're getting more
I
to the
finally
shape.
found how to put my studs easily.
Nice.
So if you need something studified, I will just tell me to click it. I'll click it.
Alrighty. I think this entire part should be studified. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And let's put in some grass really quick. Or do you want to do that with terrain?
Oh yes, I was making grass over here.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. So
but then I started studifying. So
let's studify everything. Why not?
so
okay.
I'm gonna just stud. Yes, I'm gonna just.
Yeah, and as she does that, I'll just continue building the top of this lighthouse. The light, the most important part. My goodness, what's a lighthouse without a light, right? There you go. Very interesting light that we have here. I'll just color it yellow for the time being. Then let's color this gray. Alrighty. Oh.
I like.
So how is it looking right now, Heart? What do you think about it? Let's do some
My
critique.
camera's kind of broken right now.
Oh.
I've never seen my camera being locked like this before, but it's just locked.
Well, it's fine.
I think it might be an update.
Perhaps. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so on her screen she cannot move. So I'll just go ahead and quickly finish this back up. Materials doesn't really matter because, like I said.
Oh, I can color from a distance.
You can color from a distance. Okay, that's good enough.
I can also press F. Yes, it is good to know these little things about Studio to get away with things not working the way you want it to.
Definitely.
So because I cannot move around in Studio, I just pressed F and I flew right to it. Yep, that's all I can do right now.
So definitely know how to use these keybinds in Studio. It helps you, like how Heart is having problems with her computer. F is a keybind that helps you scan, like zoom into something. So definitely keep these keybinds in mind. They'll help you. It's like a plugin, for example. It's like a tool that we use to make building much, much faster. So that she's going placing our grass. Alrighty. And let me continue up here.
I'm trying my best with the no camera movement.
Good.
Maybe this makes stud building a little easier. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because it's just so uniform.
Right. And then I'll name this up here light. What are these models? Grass. I'll name these grass. And using these names are going to be helping us in identifying later on when our like I said, our build is already getting pretty hectic, you know. Imagine you have just model. You have to scan all through these and see, okay, which one is the one that I want to choose.
I got my camera working again.
There you go. You fixed it. So
I was flying around the studio. I didn't want to look like I was lying. So
Okay.
it's fixed now. Yay.
She fixed it. Congratulations, Heart. So, like I said, naming these like grass, light, base is going to just give you a much easier way to look up your things, and especially when you're working with a team like we do at Dress to Impress, stuff in the workspace gets pretty hectic.
Yes, there are lots of models in workspace
Definitely.
and builds. Just everything you could think of. It has to be organized, otherwise it becomes very hard to read, very hard to understand, and that isn't really good for like trying to like keep up with updates and everything.
Yeah, especially because we have updates so frequently.
Yes,
It's super important that we always make sure to put everything in folders, to name everything, etc. This is looking pretty good. I don't know what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it with the like time
Yeah.
spent and with my camera, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And we could say that the dummy right here, it fits the sizing of the space. So I think we're pretty good to move on. Like I said, what's important about gray boxing is just getting those initial sizing in, you know, those initial colors, nothing too fancy, nothing polished yet.
Yes.
Keyword on yet, because later on you guys can always polish this up later and make it look pretty and beautiful. But I'm pretty sure that we got the point across that gray boxing is just putting the basic shapes down.
All right. So let's get back.
Let's move back to our presentation. Alrighty, you can go ahead with this one.
Okay. So remodel, replace any temporary assets with final model. This is taking our rough drafts to our final drafts, basically. We're gonna replace our gray box with actual finalized models. If you want to explain more on that.
Yeah, so replacing your gray box is going to be one of the most important steps of polishing it up, like in the first place, you know. You're taking these very rough draft models and making them into the final draft, the pretty part, which is where we normally tend to spend the most time in perfecting it and making sure that it's good. Now is when you can actually put time into it to making it look good, because it's no longer in the gray boxing phase.
And preserve, keeping the scale, style, and proportions of your references. So it's important to keep these things consistent, just so it shows everywhere the same. That makes sense. I think that just
yeah. No, yeah, definitely. It's good like that. Like for example, like the lamppost that we had before, it looks good until you add the dummy in. And
Yes.
remember, once you're gonna size that down and have it all proportioned and the style is really good, make sure to preserve those proportions from the gray box into your final model. Yeah.
And like if you were to import this door to Blender, you want to keep the same scale and not change any like proportions, because no one would be happy with that if you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have a really big model. So then we have optimizing. Remember, optimizing is one of those key important topics to cover. I know it can be really boring at first to learn, but no. Once you actually take the time to do it early on, you can save yourself a lot of mess ups later on, you know. One of the key indicators that we use when we were optimizing is if your device is getting hot, If your device is getting hot, it's not a good sign, you know, like it should be running over 60 FPS. It should be performant. So normally we use stuff like avoiding near collisions if the player's not going to be touching that model. Or what's another property that we use?
Cast shadow.
Yeah, turn shadows off. If the player isn't going to be directly hitting it or the shadows doesn't matter, turn them off. The game is constantly looking for these things, so it's constantly checking. And turning this off eliminates that. The game can just go on to check something else.
Yep.
How do we compare?
A lot of like lag compares shows a lot up in like physics. If you were to walk on a ball, you have to render your feet triangles walking on every single triangle of that ball. And
Yeah, I am a culprit of unanchoring my stuff way too often in my builds.
You unanchor it, or does it
Sometimes
start
it starts unanchored.
Yes, that's a
Art's always like anchor your stuff. I'm like, okay. No, I'm just kidding, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it. It's good.
Compare. Keep comparing back to your grade box as you go. This is just going back to like your roots and seeing where you started and just keeping like the original blueprint.
No, yeah. Grade boxing, like we said, with the preserving, you should also compare and go back while you're preserving those shapes. So next we have import, organize, and placing. This is part of keeping a clean workspace. So first we have import. Like I said before, I was naming my models in the demo, base, grass, light. This is going to help you so much later on. Once your workspace is filled with these crazy models named random things, you can't really go search into that and say, okay, I want to search for my light. You didn't name anything as light, so what does the game have to search for?
Yeah, and you see in like the right picture, it's just a bunch of spam. What is this? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But in the left you could see there's chair, desk, couch. I know what these are right away. I could click on them. I could copy them really quick.
Zoom into them with F. And yeah, you just know what it is right away. It makes it like doing the hard parts early on is going to definitely save you so much time later on.
Yes. And next we have organize. Organize your assets with clear folder structures. This allows you to navigate the workspace easily. So you can see here, I am taking like the good picture and I'm just simply moving it into a folder named furniture because that is what they are. They are furniture. Wait, I don't know. Is it desk furniture?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, the folders are really good in preserving, like, because the models do the step one. Think of the furniture as the parent. Okay, I'm gonna put all my furniture under this folder, and that's where I'll keep it. It's really easy access. Folders just basically help organize our stuff so much faster.
And
then we have place. You have to place with purpose and remember that less is more, definitely. Starting out as a beginner, I thought that putting more, just filling up your space with a lot of random models, a lot of random things, and a lot of noise, basically, is gonna make the build look pretty. Like, sure, it looks pretty from like a far away standpoint. But once you get closer, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just too many models. It's too loud. It's too much noise. So definitely remember that less is definitely more.
Yeah, I think it could be good for like beginning and just trying to get into studio. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay.
You're free range. But later on, definitely remember place intentionally rather than just randomly placing your things, because it just saves you, it makes the vision that you're trying to portray so much clearer. So you can see out here in the right, with the left picture, we have randomly placed furniture. You have like the paintings where they should not be. You have desks covering random things covering your vision, and whereas on the right it looks much cleaner. It looks so much nicer and easier for the player to say, okay, this is a bedroom. You know, I know what it's going to be early on, and therefore it just makes it much faster to identify what this is in your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Finalize. The environment should support the gameplay. So say if the last pictures were a horror game, if it was, you would want it to be cluttered if it was like a horror gameplay. It gives you more things to hide under. I think that's one way to like where clutter is good.
Yes.
And then in the second, you would want that for like maybe like a role play game. You just want them to have space to like walk around. You want to clear entryways. You just want to make everything
Makes
sense.
Yeah, especially with the genre that you're building in. Like I said, one rule may not apply to another build that you're making. It depends on what you're making in the first place. So the environment should definitely support the gameplay. And normally, when we don't know if like our build is not going to support it, we ask the scripters, how is this game going to play? So then after we know, okay, now we know what to do, what not to do, where to place things, where not to place things, etc.
Yeah, and we can also try it out, and if we think that it doesn't work out, we can always talk with them, and like it ends up better sometimes.
Definitely. Next we have our lighting.
So we're just gonna go back to Roblox Studio, and we're gonna touch up the build we already have.
Yes.
With some lighting.
Okay, so lighting right now, it could be better, I think.
Yeah, I think you got it, and I'll
Okay.
just like maybe gives you some tips.
Yeah. So we're actually gonna change the ambient. Normally, what do you think a color of a sea would be? Like a sea ambience?
Well, I think first, we gotta decide if we want it to be like nighttime or daytime. Like, is this like a watchtower at night looking for people?
True, because it is a lighthouse. I think, yeah, definitely. So let's switch that.
Like a more tropical vibe. I don't know.
I think the nighttime, you bring up a great point in saying that, well, it's a light in the first place. You gotta have the light in,
Like,
you know.
why are we here?
Exactly. Why are we in our setting? And these are the questions that you have to ask yourself whenever you're building. Maybe my idea at first was to make it day. It may not have been the best idea in the final game because the light cannot be used, you know?
Yes.
So let's actually change the ambience here.
I can do some point
Yes,
lighting while
please.
you do that type of lighting.
Definitely to make our game more streamlined. I'm gonna use a blue purplish ambience with the brightness. The brightness could stay as it is. Color shift top. I normally like to use a lighter, whereas color shift bottom I like to use lighter, whereas a color shift top I like to use darker. And then the diffuse scale, put a little bit down so harht has enough darkness, I guess, to place those lights in.
Yes. To make light, you must have darkness.
Darkness.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm gonna make these shadows a little bit softer so that they aren't as harsh. You guys can actually see here. If I move it up, it makes it much sharper. Like I said, those sharp edges convey a horror game look. I want to have the soft edges, so it's nice, it's calming, it's chill.
And you can't see right now because only Krissy's, but like I'm just making some like window frames because this will help show light better because this is where the light comes from.
Definitely. So because of time, we are still using the gray box. Remember referring to that back, you have to polish it as well, model it and polish it, make it look perfect, add those details in before the lighting. I think it's good to have like more of like what you think would be like a final build before you do the lighting, because what if you're doing a gray box and then you're adding like the final lighting? It doesn't make sense, you know? Like it's normally like it's a workflow. So I'm gonna change these more to blue since it is a C. And then we can mess with the settings of the atmosphere to bring it more to life. Alrighty. Oh, definitely. It automatically changes to a way more bluish type of look, more gloomy type of look.
You can see up here, like that new section I added with these window frames. If you look a little up, can you? Yes. Okay, so you can see without these, like it's just flat color. But I added window frames really quickly by taking the shape and then using my F3X tool and just resizing it on like this. Yes. Yeah. Very simple.
Very simple. And remember, harht is using F3X here, so that's the tool that allows her to do these sizings to change the size of all these parts in the first place. I use the native Roblox tool, which doesn't allow me to, so plugins definitely make the process of it much faster. Yes. Here I'm gonna take off cast shadow, so maybe our shadows have the ability to go down. I don't know, but we'll see. And as she does that, I'll keep on messing with the color correction. All right.
Yeah,
like
I think
obvious.
separating that shadow there,
Yeah.
because realistically there would be like a stairwell,
Yeah.
and some like wall lamps, but yeah, that's one way to like think about how you should divide light. Yes.
Definitely. I'll just keep this here. It goes into it, but
Oh, here, I'll fix it. So
thank you very much.
So I wanted to show that anyways.
Yes.
If you want to like recenter that, you just click this. You delete your other sphere and you just do Control V. You know, like automatically center it, and then you just drag it down.
That's perfect. You guys can see from the top with the line here. It's perfect. Good tip, Heart. Let me continue with this color correction. More bluish. Or what do you think we should use for the color correction? Blue, or would it be like a warmer tone? What do you think? Based on the color palette in our mind.
I don't think it should be orange. No.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense, would it?
Nope.
Yeah.
Because there's no sun outside.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
though it would complement it. It just depends what type of colors you're going for.
The
You
setting,
could try it.
yeah. We could try it and let's see if it looks good or if it looks bad.
Yep.
And now's the time to iterate. I think
It
because
definitely, like, it does something.
it something is definitely a way to describe
But
it.
it makes it a whole different like vibe.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I don't know if we want that vibe.
100%, definitely. So let's undo this.
I like the cooler vibe.
Yeah, it looks so much better. You guys can see, like, playing around with it and really seeing what works and what doesn't is super duper important in lighting. So do you want to add more point lights to the bottom so we can have a bit more light inside, feeding outside? Sure.
One.
And remember, this is nighttime, so that's why it's night.
Yes.
And normally to put more emphasis on this light, we will use something called a beam. A beam is basically going to be an image portrayed on like a flat plane that can be seen by the players. We would normally use like a blurred beam or in this case to create that emphasis of light. But right now, I just got an idea.
Yeah, and primarily VFX artists usually do this type of stuff. It's like what they do. It's like making these images and turning it into visual effects. So yeah, it's just adding
a
trail
definitely
of light.
Yeah.
In simple terms.
And I feel like as builders, a lot of our focus has to be like in the building, but it's super duper nice to really make yourself multidisciplinary and try these out. I think building is only one branch of development that we specialize in, but you can definitely specialize in many, many different branches. And like how Hart said, you could be your own VFX creator, and who's to say it might make your lighting look so much better because you know all these different tricks and yeah, it just makes it better.
And VFX is one of those things that you can always like touch. You could like look at models and see how it works and learn the properties and like get familiar with them. It's one of those things that you can learn.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier. You don't have to like call on people or ask people. You do it all in-house. So I'm gonna group these. Oh, sorry. These keybinds. I'm gonna group these together. So better movement. And then I just made a little light ray. Yeah. All right. So very, very fast.
Right. And I just added some like fake torches. They're just little oranges of light just because of the time we have. But just think of them as fire from little torches in the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what I think he's making is like a rotating beam.
But I feel like the lighting that we added.
See the vision.
Yeah. You can see the vision.
Maybe you can like
edit it.
This.
Yeah.
And then you can do Control Shift G, which will union it. And then it will become one.
There we go.
It'll look like one shape, which is very cool.
It looks nicer, you know, rather than this misplaced type of broken up model. Be careful with unions on that note. Unions can be very, very unperformant, like how we had mentioned before.
I think they're better now, though.
Yeah, now
I think they're
Roblox has-
considered meshes, and there is properties that you can change
Yeah.
of how much triangles you want it to show or
Yeah.
render. So I think they're a lot better now.
Yeah, as
Considering the
before.
past.
Yeah,
Yes.
the past was really, really bad.
Yes.
But nowadays, like Hart mentioned, they're put into meshes with Roblox internally, so it makes it so much easier. But apart from that, as you can see, I feel like the lighting added more oomph to the build, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's just very, very fast, very quickly, it just added more character to the build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing I just now thought of, but if you say that like the moon was really bright, the water would also be really bright. There could be some blue glowing from the water onto
sure.
like the grass. But
Yeah.
we don't need to do that right now. But that's just another way to think of how lighting reflects in an environment.
Yeah. Looks so cute. I love it. All right, let's go back to our presentation.
Yes. And lighting and presentation. So this is
Yeah.
what we just did. We wanted to do it in studio first.
Yeah, and break it down much, much further. What we did on studio into the presentation.
Yes.
Let's continue.
Complement your work with the use of lighting techniques.
So we have to ask ourselves, will lighting elevate this space or model? So right now if we just put in a normal house model from Roblox, and we have a flat lighting here, like a blue lighting. So explain what the blue lighting does.
So you could see like it's just adding like a cool light.
Yeah.
Basically, you could see how like
The
it's showing
type of
more-
mood it gives as well.
even though it's a gray block house, you could see like it definitely adds shadows and like more dimension.
Yeah, but I feel like for the color palette, in terms of this bluish color palette, it's more flat, more cold. Doesn't really make you feel much, you know?
Yep.
Whereas opposed, if we change it to a warmer color, you can see how quickly the vibe changes. It's a warmer color. It's gonna give you these safe type of vibe. It's safe to go in there rather than the cold one. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. I feel like, you know, if it's more orange, you're thinking more like summer, more
Mhm.
warm. Just maybe not even summer. It could be winter too. I feel like orange is like a nice way to use in like winter environments. It really like
It's like a
sets
contrast.
the contrast.
Yeah.
Showing this place is warm in it. Yeah.
Like moving back to the focal point of the build, what if you have, like, for example, a cold map, a winter map, and then you have a cabin that has a light in it that's warm? The player's eyes will quickly be attracted to that warm light and be like, okay, it's safe to go in there.
Yep. Like if they need to get warm,
Let's
maybe,
go.
like if they're like health bars going low, let me go over there to the warmthness.
Exactly.
Yes.
So with the lighting presentation, the first step is really, really important because we have to establish the mood. You have to put your color palette to use and set the atmospheres. Remember back then when we were getting the reference gathering, your color palette is going to be really, really important. So over here to the right, we have a warmer color palette. What type of vibe does it give off?
It gives Christmas.
Like visually, but in
mean,
terms of
well,
light.
you see these two are like one's like, I mean, they're both Christmas. They are both winter, but
Yeah.
they are very different vibes. One is very jolly and warm, looking like it probably smells like cookies in there. I don't know. And then what would you say cool gives?
I think it's more of like a sophisticated look. It's
Yeah.
cooler. It doesn't make you feel as warm as the other build does. It's like cooler. It's more rigid, more in there, more like in your face, sophisticated. It looks really, really like I'm scared to be here type of thing, even.
Yes.
And then next we have you're highlighting your key points. You can go ahead.
So warm invokes happiness, cool invokes sadness. Maybe it's not the case in these two images specifically.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. No.
So yeah, like you want to go on?
Okay.
Yes.
So the warm one here is more happy, you know, you're getting your gifts. It's like the Christmas day. You're very, very happy. It's very warm and you're with your family. It's super duper nice. Here in the US, we celebrate Christmas. And then in the cool one, it's more not sadness, I would say. It's very, very build specific. But for this build, it's more cold. It's definitely a colder vibe. And to highlight the key points on here, one of the key points would be to be the podium, you know, like how does the podium fit into DTI?
You can see like the stairs are going up and there's like a red carpet. It's pointing straight to the podium, and this is like one of the important places in DTI. You're directing everyone up these stairs to look at this podium because they won.
The winners are on the podium, so it's important again to use the focal point to draw the eyes right in there, as opposed to the cool one. We like to put our eyes towards the Christmas trees because they're right in the middle. It's the lobby. It's where you chill and you wait for the next round to happen. So how about the oh, let's go one behind. We missed a point.
Oh, sorry.
Last it's okay. Last is would be to showcase your build. I feel like this is the last step into the entire our workflow, at least as builders, is to snap a picture and share. The feedback from that you get from your friends, or in our case, our teammates. We like to send a picture of our final build, give it to our teammates, and be like, okay, what do you guys think of this? Because us as builders, we're constantly seeing the build, as opposed to a player. What might a player feel once they feel, or how will your game play once it's actually played? So getting feedback from your friends even is super duper helpful because they might see things that you might not.
Yep. And having that second pair of eyes always helps. So let's move on to the next one, and we have our checkpoint 2. And
A live challenge, another live challenge. Oh my gosh, you would have never guessed.
right, and just scan that QR code, and you'll be able to like submit your answer.
Yeah. Alrighty, so let's read out this
Yes,
question.
let's read that out.
Alrighty, so you can read it out.
What is the main purpose of gray boxing blockouts in building?
Yeah.
So is it A, add textures and lighting to the final build, or
B, planning the layout, scale, and composition of the map using simple shapes?
C, modeling detailed decorations first before starting anything?
Or D, importing meshes into Roblox? One of the most important, I feel like, whenever we're starting a DTI build, is grade boxing and blockouts, definitely, because I feel like it sets the tone for the entire rest of the build.
Yeah, I think it really depends, like on the build though too. Sometimes you just want to like be whimsical.
Yeah.
Like just place things up.
Just go in there, you know?
Because I feel like that speaks a lot of like into like the vibes of DTI. Like it's about being creative and just going off what you make in the fastest amount of time. Like you just gotta trust the process.
Yeah, especially with our crazy like delivery dates. We have
Yeah.
like for our summer update this past summer, well in summer, we had like a 2-week time frame to build this ginormous map. I feel like times like these is when we do a little bit less grade boxing, just literally just blocks, just parts, big parts, rather than that more detailed grade box that we did here.
All right. Yeah. And
I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay. And the answer is B.
Did we get you guys with C? No, it's B.
Planning the layout and scale and composition of the map using simple shapes.
Yeah, definitely. Super duper emphasis on the simple part. Don't try to go too fast into the complex things because it'll get very, very messy very quickly.
Yes. Trust the process. Modeling and building is a learning process, so it takes time, and keep going.
Yeah, definitely keep going. This is one of the last steps, trusting the process. I feel like because you guys see us as more experienced builders, it's so easy to get like scared and be like, okay, I don't know if I could trust myself. Do not get discouraged. We're here to help. The entire community is here to help. So definitely trust the process.
Yep, and I feel like a lot of people can just like lose hope, and no matter like what medium you want to do, like coding, programming, 2D art, 3D art, modeling, building, like all of these things, you just have to like keep trying to make what you want to make.
Remain consistent, especially. Consistency is like the key. Because I feel like building outright building, it's so easy to like how Hart said, to give up at first because something seems hard. But just do it. Like even though it's hard, just do it. And then you'll probably end up learning something that you can take on from that build onto your next build. Yes. And that's how we got better as builders. It wasn't like
you can only get better by doing the hard things.
Exactly.
So
alrighty, so you guys can send your questions to us and we're free to answer. Yes. So what will you build?
Yeah, and we're just gonna wait for
We're gonna wait those questions, yes. And then we'll just answer. And our Twitters are over there if you guys want to scan them. Yep. We're open to answering any questions after this Q&A.
Yes, what an amazing job everyone put in the chat. Thank you to Krissy and Hart for such an amazing workshop. Yes, put those questions in the form. We have a couple to start off with, if you guys are
Mhm.
ready.
Yeah, for sure.
So, first question is, what are the most important modeling habits beginners should develop early?
Do you want to? You?
Yeah, maybe I could go first.
All right.
I would say try to model low poly first. I think that's an important habit. It teaches you a lot about like topology and like keeping it simple and then building upon that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super duper. Well, I started low poly. I'm pretty sure Heart started low poly as well. Simple things, start simple. Don't try to go too crazy into it, especially with Roblox because it is an engine that is geared toward every device type. Low poly builds, starting out with that low poly model, is gonna really really gonna help you optimize, like how we had mentioned before, and it's something to build on top of.
Yes.
Rather you start with a high poly, like rather you start with a low poly experience and then transition later to high poly, rather than starting out in high poly and then transitioning to low poly. It'll be a harder process, I feel like.
Yeah, I think I eventually got to this phase where I would just want to do high poly, but it taught me a lot about optimizing because how to like remove edges, what needs to be there, what doesn't, like making use of your topology there. It teaches you a lot about how shape works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely is very good tips for a beginner. Yeah. And this question is from Razor Bites. What were your biggest inspirations to start 3D modeling?
That's a great question, actually. I feel like for me, one of my biggest inspirations was I feel like I'm a pretty emotional person, so I feel like there was very, very little games on Roblox that invoke that emotion or that grandiosity that I really enjoy. So I feel like I was like, if nobody else is gonna do it, why would I do it? So that really, really inspired me to start and making these abstract, interesting architectural builds because you don't really see that nowadays in the front page.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, I started as a builder when I was like maybe 12, very, very long ago. And I think someone hired me thinking I could model, but then I was like, I guess I gotta learn how to model now. Yeah, and then I just added it to my things.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I still categorize myself as a builder. Yeah,
Definitely.
it holds that place in my heart.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And, when you're thinking about what to design and, using references, how do you find useful references without copying off another creator's work?
So for me, like I'll do a lot of research on what I want to start with first, and then I'll find a lot of different images. Like my reference boards go crazy. Like there's so many images. I'm sure he can explain it. He's probably like, you need to remove some images.
Really?
But to me, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like just doing things like reverse image searching the artist name, any information you could find on these helps a lot. And just building that reference board with many images and making that visual image for yourself to build off of is what helps me. You don't want to ever like copy anything one for one. You want to make it from your own mind.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a part of it is reference finding, yes, but another part of it is also it's like a reference. It's something that you reference off of. You don't copy. It's two different wordings here. Normally with my references, I tend to do like a cluster of different references and be like, just to get the vibe, just to get the atmosphere, the different shapes that I want to use for the genre that I'm building in. I don't think it's really, really good to ever copy any reference directly, rather take inspiration from one thing and then inspiration from another thing, and maybe that will create an entirely different new shape or different new vibe.
Gotcha. And as you guys are working, and especially like whether it's like your own personal projects or within a team, um, do you guys use any AI tools that could help, whether it's like with workflows, plugins, just any daily sort of activity that you guys do as a builder?
That's a great question, actually.
Maybe math.
I feel like math, yeah. I feel like in any creative field, especially for us builders, with the technology that's on Roblox right now, it makes it a bit difficult for us to use AI.
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
What I'm gonna add before I forget. So I think we would both agree that using like AI art to like say something that's not ours, like we drew this. No,
Yeah.
we wouldn't do that. We built this, and it's just an AI generated thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very authentic.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good tool for like things like math problems and like making things that you just don't understand, like
Yeah.
coding.
Or maybe even like I guess you could, if you were really to apply it into building, I guess like references would be like where I would draw the line. Other than that, it's something, I guess it's something to reference off of. You're not copying directly. It's just a reference. It's not going to be put in the final game.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just a good tool.
Yeah.
And this question is from Declanatory. When it comes to level design and playtesting, what player behavior tells you the design needs to change, and how do you iterate upon that?
Very, very important. I feel like how the player is gonna interact with your world. Like I mentioned before, us as builders, it's like desensitized kind of. We see our builds so much that we know exactly where to go, exactly what to do. Whereas as a new player, they're kind of at a loss because they're like they don't know all this stuff. So I guess it's up to you to really implement like place yourself into a player's perspective and see, okay, how would I interact with this new map or like this new environment that I'm walking into?
So can you repeat that question like one more time? I think I didn't understand it right.
Yeah, so when it comes to level design and playtesting, what player behavior tells you that the design needs to change, and how do you iterate upon that?
So I would say like if they are not finishing to a goal, say there's like a game pass, there's clearly stats on that. You could see like, oh, no one's getting this stat, but like it's a good stat like to get. You want this game pass, it gives you items. If they are not getting this game pass, I'm doing something wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I need to see what I can change, and just reiterate from there. It could be map, it could be code, it could be any of those things.
Yeah, and Roblox really makes it like a streamlined process because the Roblox gives us all of this data that we need, like it gives us the tools. It's up to us as builders and creators to use the tools that Roblox gives us to create better experiences.
Yes.
Yes, and we have one last question for you guys before we end. It is, what is the
Alrighty.
number one piece of advice you would give to a solo developer who is just starting to build their first game on Roblox today?
So for me, if you really want to get into building, like I started off like as doing like a fun thing.
Yeah.
Like I'd get on my like little like heavy computer back in like I don't know 2012.
They were real heavy back then.
It was like just like a fun thing for me to do. It was like kind of watching like Netflix. It was just painting. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Just do it for fun. Do what you want. You can make anything. You don't have to make a game specifically. You can make a showcase just to show what scene you want to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that builds a lot and gives you a lot of like love for the art.
Exactly. I feel like take this quote very, very seriously. I feel like every single time that you're in there, you're gaining something.
Yes.
So remember, every single time that you're building, even though you don't think that it looks like it's your best work, you're gaining more knowledge. So it's really, really important to remember, like, even though it might not be good now, you can't say in the future how your builds will look or how you'll progress as a builder. It's so untold. So don't base yourself off of what your builds look like now or like how you think of yourself now because there's always room for growth, especially as a solo developer. I feel like
Yes, and
yeah.
I think I had this bias when I would think anything I made I would love, like not
that's
not
great.
to have an ego.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm just happy that I did do it and like I took away that time to learn something new.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll look in the future and be like, what did I do? I don't know who made that.
But that's
But yeah.
growth,
But yeah,
That's
then
a lot
that
of
shows me
growth.
there's growth. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, just don't give up.
I love that advice. Just keep going, and every opportunity is a learning chance. So, yeah, that is an awesome note to end. And give it up for one more time for Krissy and Hart in the chat. They did such a phenomenal job. And don't worry, we are just getting
Thank you,
started with
everyone.
Inspire. Yes, thank you
Yeah.
guys so much.
Thank you guys. It was a great opportunity to be able to do this, to get out of our normal space and present what we know to you guys.
Yep, and thank you for having us.
Yeah, peace.
Yes, the pleasure is ours. And don't worry, we have a bunch of more workshops coming tomorrow and through the rest of the week. So stay on the lookout for that. But until then, I will catch you guys later.
For sure.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.
guys.